Right. I wanted to express my views on something like a topic uh, uh, on lack of economic consciousness amongst Indian people, lack of economic perspective, lack of economic thought process. But as I started delving deep into the subject matter, and as I thought more comprehensively on this topic, I realized that no, it is not that the people do not have some fundamental economic knowledge or understanding or informations. Rather, they do have some economic informations, knowledge, and they can also claim that they are masters of economy. That is why I had to change my topic from what I earlier thought that it should be lack of economic consciousness or economic knowledge or literacy also. No, I realize that is not the problem because many are there to claim that they are well versed with economy, economic knowledge, and some of them can also claim that they are the teachers also of economy. So I had to change the entire content and also the title. So instead of giving it a title like lack of economic knowledge or lack of economic perspective, now I think it would be better to title it as lack of integrating the knowledge of economy with other dimensions of life, most importantly, international or global politics, and the ability or rather inability to link the internal Indian politics, domestic politics, with the international or global politics, and the role of economy in this interlinkage, and also the inability to link with social aspect, the constitutional legal aspect, and humanitarian aspect, how to link the humanitarian aspect with economic aspect. Means overall the real problem is not that of knowledge in one or the other subject, but the real crisis is that of how to make an integrated understanding or conclusion of all the subjects. Because when we integrate the knowledge from all subjects, then our conclusions are overthrown. I mean, they are trumped out. They are not simply changed, but they are annihilated, and we are pushed to a totally new conclusion. So, real problem is not the lack of knowledge and some economic information. The real problem is the ability to look at the things in an integrated, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and indivisible manner. The fragmentation of the knowledge, for example, looking at the things from historical perspective, if you have history as your background, looking at the things from philosophical perspective, if you have philosophy as your background, looking at the things geographically only, if you have geography as your background, looking at the things technologically only, if you have science, technology, or engineering as your background. That is the tragic part of knowledge: fragmentation of knowledge, division of knowledge, deconstruction, division, departmentalization of knowledge, compartmentalization of knowledge. That is the tragedy. So, what are the consequences? In India, the people are well aware of their problems. They know that job is the problem, population is the problem, poverty is the problem, inequality is the problem, um, discriminations based on gender and caste are the problem, language, regionalism, these are the problems. They know the problems, but when it comes to think about solutions, the tragedy is that this fragmented knowledge, this divided knowledge, this compartmentalized knowledge, it emerges as the greatest challenge to think in terms of any credible format of solution. So, the solution which this divided mind could imagine of are also non durable, unsustainable, ingenuine, unauthentic solutions, which doesn't test even the basic test of which doesn't stand the basic test of rationality. It sounds from the very beginning irrational because a person from history thinks in terms only of history, a person from geography thinks only in terms of geography, a person from literature, art, poetry thinks only from the point of view of literature and art, unless the poets also have some citizenship sense, economic idea, realistic idea. We are Can there be any doubt that we are living in an extreme materialistic era when your needs and problems are economic and materialistic? Then the realism is that must accept economic reality. So solutions should also be economic. Jobs are essential to solve the problem. But the idea of the people about job is to criticize the government, to depend on the government, to abuse the government, to protest against the government, and to ask from government, give me job, give me job. Chasing the government for jobs. So unless we have a comprehensive idea, we cannot understand that the jobs can be created only when your private sector flourishes the natural vegetation in a natural landscape. So unless you have a vibrant, prosperous, flourishing private sector, the jobs cannot be created. So you have created 8 billion population, 1.5 billion being in India. And you want all these people to be given jobs only by the government? Impossible, unnatural, unscientific. We are all doomed to be devastated if we have this thinking. And people have material needs, people have economic needs, people have hardcore materialistic needs. But their thinking is highly ethical and moral and spiritual. So they want jobs also to be in the form of spiritual. They hate the money of others. They hate the wealth of others. They simply hate the property of others. They simply hate the well-being of others. They simply hate the profit of others. This sadism embedded in, especially amongst Indian people, sadism. In other countries like Pakistan, they don't have even basic idea of how economic solutions can really solve their religious problem, their social problem. They can't be expected. It's futile to expect anything from them. But in India, at least, there is some level of awareness. The people really, they do deserve a better future. That's possible also. But what actually is holding them back is their own. I would not say thinking. It's much deeper than thinking. It's like sanskar. So the sanskars are highly casteist, extremely casteist. Even the educated people don't think beyond caste as a solution. Solution lies in economy, building economy. And it's very simple. If you study the entire economic history of India, you will come to understand that the government cannot give 100% jobs to all the people. So private must be promoted. But the moment there is some private sector growing, the people will start enjoying their destruction. So in India, the people knowing very well that the solutions, the jobs will be created under private sector only. Still, they want to pull down the private sector of India. This is what I often call suicide. Knowing very well that the solutions to your problems are coming or can come only from private sector, still determined to destroy the private sector by this way or that way. That is the sadism embedded in Indian characteristic, which has been enhanced by the medias like anti-industry, anti-business, anti-profit media of India, leftist, the symbol of which is a man called Rabbis Kumar, the man who represents the negative, the entire everything that is rotten in Indian media, negativity, representing only negativity, imparting only one thing, that all problem can be solved only by the government, and not allowing, not imparting any positive economic news, entrepreneurship, the values of entrepreneurship. So the problem of value. The crises are real, genuine, material and economic. But the solutions which are proposed and preferred are non-economic. Dismantling the structure, the agencies which can give the solution, that is private sector. So the consequences are that the problems which should have been solved 2 decades ago are perpetuated: poverty, inequality, low standard of life, lower per capita income, educational problems, health problems. In last 6 years, India has added 1.30, almost $1.5 trillion economy, despite facing the problems of foreign-funded protest movement, anti-demonetization, anti-GST, anti-car, anti-370 abrogation. Despite this severe protest funded from the China and other countries, India still has added $1.5 trillion economy. Had this foreign-funded, enemy-funded protest not been there, it would have been $2 trillion undoubtedly. So if we have lost $0.5 trillion, means $500 billion, it is because of foreign-funded protests. It is because of the enemies of India not wanting India to reach its destination. The destination is that India is well within its capacity to be number 2, or maybe who knows, if it can become number 2, then of course it can become number 1. But the people need to come out of their embedded hatred. With this entrenched hatred against the destruction of property and wealth in India, it would be very late and very difficult. Of course, India will reach where it has to reach, but 10 years, 20 years will be lost, maybe lost. So that is the problem. India needs to build a new culture, the culture of appreciating the wealth, the culture of appreciating the property, the culture of believing that if problems are economic, then solutions should also be economic. Society culture, morality, everything will automatically fall in place. First, you need to uncompromisingly, uncompromisingly, you need to build your economy. And to build the economy, you need to learn how to appreciate the private sector of India. Corporate nationalism is standing firmly behind India's powerful corporates, not only existing ones, but the arriving one also, believing that each Indian has the potential to become Tata, Birla, Ambani, and Adani. Appreciate it. You will grow. You will contribute. You will do the wonders. You can do what you expect, what you expected from Bhagat Singh to do if you can become Birla, Tata, Ambani, and Adani. I will continue in other videos. Thank you.